well, the boomer is trying to figure out how to get out of live spaces on X. But this is our, let's say, 24th episode of the weekly Tesla Talk, even though we agreed that we weren't going to name the numbers anymore. So this will be the last time. Sorry. This week, NVIDIA lost like 600 billion in market cap.
Is that why you're sleeping on the street right now and still having your code on, Kenny?
Yeah, he lost all his money.
Did you lost all your money again? Or?
Well, I lost it in Tesla, not in NVIDIA.
Tesla also closed quite low yesterday, or below 400. But it seems like DeepSeek is now stealing the shine from NVIDIA, and investors panicking and going through to DeepSeek instead of NVIDIA. So Kenny, I don't know if you can enlighten us what's been happening there.
Oh yeah, sure. So I think the premise was that everyone would need a lot of chips from NVIDIA and like a lot of energy, etc.
All those H100 chips, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So during the weekend, there was a new model from DeepSeek, which is like built on they say on the 6 million cost instead of like 80 billion or 180 billion that you now see with Meta and with Amazon, etc. So everybody was thinking like, holy shit, if they can do it in China for like 6 million, then they can do it much more efficient than we can in the US. So that's a part of the of the scare that we had in the markets yesterday. Although I think it's like it's built on FUD in my opinion. I think also
FUD is like fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they say it's 6 million, but it seems to be that 6 million are the running cost. They also announced yesterday that you could not longer sign up for DeepSeek because, I don't know, there were some constraints. So question is, how strong is the infrastructure there as well? And there was a guy who was on, I think, CNBC or whatever, on Yahoo Finance. Yeah. And he said like, we have around 50,000 NVIDIA chips, but we cannot really talk about that. So
due to export regulations from the United States, right?
Yeah. So basically the US said you can send nothing to China for NVIDIA, like not the newest chips, only in the US and Western countries. But in the meantime, I've digged into some numbers, and 20% of all NVIDIA chips go to Singapore. So that's a gateway to China. So I think there are some rumors that at DeepSeek, they have like 100,000 H100. So it's like a big farm costing like billions.
Can you tell a little bit about the product? Because I have not been testing with it. Florian, you have been testing with the DeepSeek product as well.
Deep Throat or DeepSeek?
What is so special about it?
I have seen
usage. Is the number one app on the...
I downloaded it multiple times,
But in the rabbit holes of Kees, it seems to be. So,
I thought it was called DeepSeek, but...
it is. Did you try it, Florian? Or
I downloaded it. I asked a few questions, but
it's just ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
So, but it seems to be just more efficient.
But they also dropped Janus Pro, I think, and that's a Dell 3 competitor as well today. Mm-hmm. And I also read a lot about the founder of the DeepSeek. Mm-hmm. He was working, he's 30 years old.
Wow.
5 years ago, he was working at Wall Street.
Yeah.
And he created an hedge fund, AI hedge fund, developed on AI. And he, $8 billion hedge fund. And it was so successful that he said, well, I need a new mission in my life. Let's try to make AGI.
It's a side project, I think, right?
He said, "I'm not for. It's not able to get investment into DeepSeek. I'm not going to sell it at all. This is my mission to create AGI." So I think it's nice. This is not a FUD or.
And then what's like? From my understanding, like the difference between DeepSeek and ChatGPT is the way it gives you answers, right? Because ChatGPT gives you a very short, to the point answer to basic questions, and DeepSeek takes you along in the motivation and the whole argument that it's trying to make, right? Like it takes you in, exactly, the reasoning process.
Oh, that might be different, but
it's the model is not created based on training data or compute to expand the model. But it's reinforcement learning. So the model learns itself. Yeah. So it's like a child riding a bike. You can give the child a handbook of this is how you ride a bike. or you can give the child a bike and say, just do it.
Yeah, they fall a couple times and then
they learned the model by training the model itself. So that's the inventive method. And because they weren't allowed to buy compute, they had to think through other stuff and become very creative.
So this is like
this also shows that if you ban somebody or you put them into creativity, also always wins.
Yeah.
And so this is a perfect example. I mean,
yeah, but I think there's two different sides, right? So you're completely right on that. It's like really innovative how they build it up and how it learns itself. So that's the big takeaway. But what I mean with the FUD is that they say that they do it on it is more efficient, but it's not as efficient as they say it is. And it's still built on NVDA chips, which they also said it wasn't. So that's the FUD.
Yeah, of course.
The innovation itself, I'm completely on board. That's really really innovative.
Yeah, but
it does show that there is like a war going on. What we talked about last week as well.
Yeah.
Is that Trump announced 6 days ago that he had this amazing deal that people all around the world would invest $500 billion into AI infrastructure in US. And 6 days later, there's some Chinese guy, 30 years old, completely disrupting this.
Let's make it $1 trillion.
Yeah. So do we need $500 billion in order to get number one in the world of AI?
Yeah.
So,
but what I actually was thinking is that the model itself from DeepSeek, it learns by itself instead of having a large data set, right? But it's the same as what we have with Tesla, which is like based on neural nets. Also, that's learning on itself. So, and that's also what they said before. Like we had like 300,000 lines of code, and now we just put in images and it learns by itself. So I'm actually on the camp that it's not very different than what Tesla is already doing.
Yes, so DeepSeek is actually the Tesla within the large language model interactive AGI.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, to be seen how that develops. I think it's great that landscape is just opened up by a Chinese competitor entering the game. And I think that's very important that we cannot underestimate what is happening all around the world. But personally, I also don't feel that Sam Altman is one of the winners in this game. Many key players believe in OpenAI starting initiatives themselves. So I'm still very curious what is left on the sort of advantage that ChatGPT had in the beginning. It reminds me very much on sort of the browser wars that you had in the early days. Like you had competitors that were so dominant in their field or computer market as well, and then after a while innovation kicks in and suddenly all other players are passing by.
There's actually not sure if one of you has seen it. There's actually a podcast, I think by Tucker Carlson, with like the father and the mother of somebody who worked at OpenAI. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I've seen bits
the suicide.
Whistleblower. OpenAI whistleblower. Yeah.
So what are the highlights there? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, there was a guy with an Indian background. I don't know his name top of my head, and he has been working for OpenAI for quite a while, and then he quit his job at OpenAI, and then sort of whistleblow that OpenAI is basically stealing a lot of IP. So they train their models based on IP of others. And he was very vocal about that. And there was some more and more people opening their eyes.
And then IP is the intellectual property, like if you spout ideas into ChatGPT and...
No, the intellectual property, you train your data on it. So for example, art, or for example, music, or those kind of stuff that requires IP to learn your model. And then all of a sudden, this guy was being found dead in his apartment.
Shady.
And after let's say a couple of weeks after him announcing that, coming out as a whistleblower, so to say, and their parents were not allowed to, for example, go inside, and there was a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. So their parents decided to pay their own investigation, and the things that were coming out of that investigation was like, this is for sure not a suicide, and he wasn't suicidal at all, because he just came back from a weekend with friends, and the friends said, well, he was very excited about his startup, about his future. So they think the guy is being murdered. Because the consequences for OpenAI would be massive if this stuff would be coming out. Of course, that's maybe it can be speculation, like parents feeling sad. Of course, there's a whole bunch of things can be at play, but for a couple of things for sure. It's that, as Florian said, it's a AI war, so everybody's fighting on resources. Everybody's trying to get ahead and trying to be the first that build AGI. But also, I think the whole situation at OpenAI of being first open source and now more closed sourced, Elon has been highlighting that for many times, and I've heard the argument of Sam Altman as well. Like, if we all open source it, maybe bad actors can run with it, and so
there is some truth to that.
It's an argument that you can make. I'm not saying that is a stupid argument. But the way that business is being done, and sort of key players, let's say all the people from the very first hours of OpenAI, like Ilya and that lady, they all have left the building, and everybody also knows that it's not OpenAI running the show, but it's basically a Microsoft. Microsoft that is calling the shots, and CEO of Microsoft has been very vocal about them owning all the IP of OpenAI. Yeah. So, but I think personally, if you need to already pull those kind of tricks, I personally don't think that ChatGPT will build out their leader position.
Yeah, and it's an attack to the business model. So they are offering ChatGPT for 20 euros. They're offering their new model, which is called the operator model, for $200. Yeah. The pro version also, I believe. And now DeepSeek is as good and offer it for €0 and open source.
Yeah.
So, and Grok is going to launch this week or next week.
Yep. Grok
3 will be better than ChatGPT, probably. So indeed, the wars are also going to create like a price spiral, and who's going to pay for all what's going to be the business model on all the billions spent on compute? What's going to be the revenue model?
Yeah.
And that's where Tesla comes in. I mean, Tesla is a real AI company where the revenue model is very clear, and that's why they are the clear winners. Still at this moment, I think. But
it's
compared to the other large language models, which are
well, on the other hand, like I'm paying for ChatGPT and Perplexity as well, just to try it out. So there is a business model. I'm not sure like how successful it is or how much they earn with it. But to quickly come back on the Tucker Carlson interview, so I haven't seen it. But the guy, the Sam Altman, like it's always dangerous to say like based on how he looks or whatever, that you can have like a feeling or you think a certain way about somebody. But if I look at a couple of things which are just factual, OpenAI started as a non-for-profit. It has become a profit. Yeah, under Sam Altman. A lot of people went away under Sam Altman. Leadership, which he didn't want to go away, also under Sam Altman. He said publicly in, I think, one of the trials that he had, I'm not driven by money. I don't have any stake in OpenAI. I just want to make generalized AI. I don't care about stuff. He drives in a Koenigsegg of 4 million. Yeah. So
he clearly gives about material stuff.
Yeah. So and it's fine. But my feeling with the guy is he's not upfront. He's
not to be trusted. No.
Well, yeah. Based on like a couple of things that he said, and then looking at his actions, like what he says is politically correct, and it's all what you want to hear, but his actions are different.
And he has been very apparently. If they published a couple of tweets of him last week, where he basically said, "I'm doing everything to stop Donald Trump with my technology and working on some projects there." So they recapped a bunch of tweets from him from 2015, 2016, etc. So that didn't look very well.
No. On the other hand, you can change your mind about it, right?
No,
But
change your mind, but actively trying to sabotage somebody else's campaign. So that's a thing. But I think
We're talking pre-elections or like during the elections.
I think Sam Altman is a very savvy fundraiser and businessman, and not so altruistic, at least as he portrays himself. It's a bit of that other man, Sam Bankman-Fried. He was super altruistic about everything and sort of the new kid on the block. Everybody look, oh, this is a new way of capitalism, and it can be done this way. This guy drives a cheap car. But in the end, the signs were sort of clear of how.
And he has a very cringy voice.
How did
I cannot listen to him.
no,
I had the same with Elon in the beginning.
Me neither. But based on his actions, I just don't. I
but
don't feel very good
that
about
said,
the guy.
Did you learn about his sister?
I was
Go
also
there again.
Is she on OnlyFans?
I was also very surprised that Larry Ellison and Sam Altman came out as sort of big announcement.
Yeah, with Massa, Son, and Trump with the Stargate deal. You mean?
Yeah, for me that felt like super odd or so. It's like super premature. I also did not like the story that Larry Ellison was telling too much. It was bit fake, mRNA and cancer vaccines and all that. Can be a solution, but it felt like something that was not fully developed at all.
Well, they say they're already building, right?
It opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I think we are on the verge of something. Also solving a lot of longevity stuff. I think our other guru, Brian Johnson, he has also been retweeting about this. Mm-hmm. And
about Stargate in specific, or just in general?
About the remarks Larry Ellison made that eventually AI will help us solve all these diseases, and
because
also help us become
because
older.
It's a lot of data, and the DNA sequencing seems to be like something with AI. You can have a lot of, let's say, solutions or that kind of things in that corner. So could be true, and with that I'm on board. I think on the Stargate project itself, it's more that you have your doubts, right? So
I found the composition of people being involved a bit odd. Also not very transparent who is leading what, and then Elon came out with a tweet like the guy.
This was more a Trump show.
And it was like a rumor being announced, but like Trump didn't really have anything to do with it, and like it's not really helping.
But also
the
very
government
early
as well.
in the Trump presidency, that I don't know. For me, it was I had my doubts by it.
Yeah, and Elon had the same, right? He mentioned like you don't have the capital.
They don't have the funding.
No,
they only have 10 billion.
It did kick off a week full of AI news.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Definitely.
Trump was the first again to bring in the news. Also with the meme coin, now with this Stargate, the world of AI, crypto, and is starting right now. And this is going to be the year that everything can happen. And I've seen some launches this week where I'm also mind blocked about. So
and Elon is also predicting AGI before 2026. So that's already very fast.
That will be within the year then, a lot of stuff to happen.
Before we go there, I think we discussed before we started that this week is the Super Bowl of the quarter, right? So,
definitely.
Maybe go there.
I hope Elon makes some remarks about this Stargate project tomorrow.
So tomorrow earnings call.
Yeah.
And very much looking forward to it. You were pumped. Kenny was pumped as well. What exactly are you pumped about, Kenny?
Well, I'm just a lot of stuff. So we know there's a lot in the pipeline, right? Already for 2 years, but a lot of things are now converging. So we have energy that is ramping up, accelerating. We have the cyber cap, where they said that they would launch something in the first half year of 2025.
Is that the cyber cap or the compact model?
No, the cyber cap. So I actually went back to the Q3 earnings call transcript. I read it full last night. So I was like, let's see what did he actually say.
Sounds like a wonderful evening.
Well, because you forget a lot. You forget a lot of stuff. It's 85, and my HRV is 85. So recovery is 29 or 92. So I'm good. But
you have to read more.
Maybe I do. But Yeah, so he actually said a couple of interesting things. So he said on the Cybercab, they were already ride-hailing Tesla people.
Yeah, like Tesla employees, they're testing
Tesla
it internally.
employees, in Palo
Yeah.
Alto. So it's actually, they're already running it.
Yeah, for a couple months already, yeah.
Yeah, and they wanted to launch in California and Texas, and they were pretty sure it would happen in the first half year of 2025. And they said that the main roadblock there is regulation. So, and they said Q2, so it might be quicker, which would be really good. So that's what I'm pumped about. Like, do we now get more specific, like cities, timelines, how many cars?
And the funny thing again is like, once this gets out, people are gonna be blown away and like amazed.
Yeah.
But like, just as what you did, it's like you get back to the Q3 earnings, and he told it all.
He just said it.
Just listen carefully and read carefully what he says, and it becomes reality.
You forget about it. And he also said during that call, like, hey guys, we already had 30 Cybercabs. Where do you think we are with production? We should be at full speed in 2026. So that means this year they're ramping. So I'm pretty keen on hearing more about that. Then we have some rumors about FSD in China, which would be amazing.
They're testing it right now on public roads. So that became Chris Zhang. It's like a pretty reliable source on X. He works, or he has some connections to Tesla China.
Rumors that it would be there. So I'm pumped about that. We have the Model Y Juniper, which came out in Europe last week. So I think we predicted it. That it would come soon, but it's here.
And deliveries even beginning in March, and probably 23rd of February, during the light show record attempt by Tesla Owners Club, there's going to be a Model Y Juniper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
amazing. So that's cool. Actually, the first one was already pumped out of
Are we
Berlin.
going there?
I want to go, but I am in Austria skiing then. So, but I've invited everyone from the company at Mr. Green to go there. So if you want to go, we have 10 tickets. So
nice.
Yeah.
But go ahead, so I'm very pumped about that. And I think he said, so Elon said on the Q3 earnings call, we expect 20 to 30% more vehicle sales. So part will become from the Model Y refresh, which is doing really well in China.
Yes, so guidance for the whole year will be around 2.1 million cars produced.
Yeah, so that's the core business, right? It's now the car, so it's 2.1, 2.2. So I think it would be good if he can reiterate that. He was a little bit high on Q4, so let's see. I think Wall Street is like on 16% growth, so it would be good just to be re-emphasized.
And as we've seen, like the Tesla Radio, I'm bringing this up to the screen right now. It's a short post, but the new Tesla Model Y has reportedly brought in 130,000 orders in China in the first 16 days since the order book or order bank opened. That's insane.
Yeah, but for reference, they did like 350,000.
Yeah, for the whole last year, right?
In 2024. So this is 1/3 in 16 days. It will not stay this high, but it shows demand. And I think it's optimized for the Chinese market, looking at the design.
Yeah, I'm beginning to like the back end, actually. It's I've seen many close-ups.
I would be more interested in because also you still can finish your thoughts on the Q3. But also the manufacturing learnings that it's a whole new manufacturing line. So I assume
for Model Y or Cybercab?
For the Model Y and of course the Cybercab. Yeah, so the learnings from the Cybercab and also the whole Model Y, Model 3 overhaul that has been done already. That must be an efficiency win. So it can be that the output can simply be higher. And also the cost of goods sold has been higher. I think we have not achieved the bottom of the cost of goods sold of the Model Y yet. And probably the bottom will be hit somewhere in the next 4 to 5 months, which kicks for price elasticity. So obviously the first batch will probably be sold at a higher ticket. Simply because the demand is there and people want the new car.
And it's exactly what they're doing right now, because this is the first time actually that we're seeing this strategy by Tesla. They're coming with a special launch edition, whilst still selling the current Model Y. So the launch edition has a higher price, so it's around 10K more expensive. In the United States, you also get FSD on it, acceleration boost, and some cool stuff that makes it a launch edition. So they're going to phase out production. So they are going to clear inventory, and all those early adopters are going to pay a premium. So the margin will also increase after this quarter.
Yeah, but, but the margin in the beginning of the ramp is always tough, right? So in the beginning,
Exactly.
the ramp is not on full speed.
I fully agree. So I think that's the reason why they are selling it next to it and for a higher price. But
and
I
also
think the playbook
learning
is great.
Also learning from like past mistakes, because every time Tesla comes out with a new model, people are annoyed because yesterday they picked up their Model 3 and a day later the new car comes out and it's also 2K cheaper. So they want to learn from their mistakes and not piss everyone off. And the same, like they did the same with reintroducing the indicator stocks. So they learn from their mistakes every time.
Yeah. So apart from that, I think they mentioned it also in the Q3 earnings. So they said first half year of 2025 we'll have a more like a cheaper model. So I'm really keen to see that. I'm not sure if it's the Cybercab with wheels. I don't think so. Still
with the steering wheel. Yeah.
With a steering wheel. Sorry, wheels it has. So not with a steering wheel, and it might be like something of a Model Y and a Model 3, just like with cheaper material and stuff. And it might be something in between. I don't know, but I'm really excited for more on that as well. Like, is it a new vehicle? Is it a cheaper Model Y? What is it?
For me, all that stuff is of course great.
But
But Elon was so pumped during the turnaround that the country make. And if you, for example, Mark Andreessen was on the podcast with Lex Friedman, and they all say, well, there is something significantly changed in the spirit of the United States. So everybody sees that. Everybody feels like, okay, the burden of the government is finally coming off our backs, and the man that suffered most of that is simply Elon Musk and his companies. So I will be very keen to hear a bit more how this enthusiasm that he has for America and for the future translates to sort of timelines and things that they envisions for Tesla, because we already saw during the Trump inauguration that Elon was very excited about going to Mars, putting an American flag on Mars. But I'm very curious what it means for Tesla as a company.
And will this mean that all his Elon timelines will finally become a reality, like within the speed that he wants to achieve things?
Well, from my point of view, everything is ready. And it feels strange that you talk about some sort of big startup of already $100 billion in revenue. But now, if you look at what's all ready to scale, I need to sneeze.
Bless you.
Sorry. So we have energy and cars, of course. That's sort of ready to scale. FSD is there. But the most important thing is that the blueprint for scaling the factories is there. And they've postponed Mexico. They now rolled out the energy factory in Shanghai. So that is ready. And during the podcast of Mark Andreessen, but also in an interview with Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon's partner in Doge, they had a sort of disagreement on the route to follow. So Vivek was very much thinking about changing the law, cutting regulations on that, while he said, Elon is a technologist, so he wants to fix the technology part of the United States. So basically, as Florian also said in one of the podcasts, making one big operating system where all the roles of the government are being sort of utilized. And probably Elon is just narrowly focused only on the technology part, as he always is, and being vocal and say, listen, gents, the emperor has no clothes, as Elon can do like no other.
Solving problems in a matter of time.
So so that really opens sort of the as everybody say, the golden age for America, for the United States, where Tesla, of course, and Boring Company and all the Elon companies are going to play a very pivotal role because they have the infrastructure in place to make it happen. So, therefore, I'm open for more surprises and a bit more aggressive timelines than we are used to.
So less so the numbers.
He will talk a little bit about Robotaxi, about the national framework that he's working
Robotaxi
on.
network, maybe as well.
The network. They will probably show the graphs with a number of billion miles driven by FSD. The number of
Accident
compute
data
that they expect to, and I think those are very important metrics. Far more important than the number of cars sold. But definitely hope to see his energy, which he has showed on the stage last week, to bring that to the and hopefully he is also able to actually throw in some things that we will never expect it.
Yeah, I think if I look at all the earning calls, this can be sort of if you look at the actual earnings, they will probably be not so strong. If you look at the insiders that are predicting the actual earnings of this quarter,
the numbers.
But I think we're going to see the most optimistic Elon till day with some announcement that will shock us, because it's also the earnings call that is being postponed the longest, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, but if we talk about shockers, then like what? Put some wild shockers in the...
Okay, here are my shockers.
Okay,
factory announcements, or more aggressive factory announcements. So, and they won't say, okay, we're going to build a factory there, and there, but they say this year we will announce a couple or a number of factories that they will have. FSD, a Cybercab rollout. Yeah, so that is going to be an obvious one where
national framework agreement solved.
Yeah, so that will be way more aggressive. Maybe the combination with Boring Company, if they can say, okay, we're going to collaborate for thousands and thousands of miles that we're going to drill over the coming years, and obviously Optimus. Timelines, but Optimus is not so much related to regulation and all that.
Well, partly, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But I think he's just going to re-emphasize what he said a couple of weeks ago, which is like 5,000-6,000 of Optimus this year, and then 50,000 next
10x
year.
every year.
Yeah. But exciting times ahead, and the great thing also, it's very recommendable to listen to that podcast of Mark Andreessen and Lex Friedman. Is Mark Andreessen says in his podcast, he says there are building something that is so amazing that it will shock everybody.
That's for the regulation.
Yeah, for Doge. Yeah. So and then Lex asked like, okay, what are you talking about? And he says, well, just look at the people who are involved. That's Elon and also a bunch of other technology-minded people. And they say they see technology as the only solution to make it cost efficient as we want. Otherwise, regulation would just take way too long. So that's something that will be also very surprising. And I think for a guy like Elon, this isn't even the most complex thing that he ever created in his life, right? So. Full self-driving sounds a bit more difficult than making certain government tasks more efficient.
True.
Florian, any bold predictions from your side?
Not. I think the same things as we just heard, and I just hope that he is open-minded and he is able to let go of all his frustrations that he showed sometimes in the earnings calls, people asking the wrong questions. And hopefully we'll also get some very interesting questions from people. And it won't be about numbers or cars, but it will be about AI, number of compute deployed, integration of Grok, those kind of things. And but still, it's just an earnings call. It's not a product announcement.
No, exactly.
Call, so,
exactly. When is the shareholder call? The annual shareholder meeting of Tesla? That's always.
Also,
we were discussing about that.
No, it's already February then. Or?
No, because I think Kees was right. So it's more or less
June.
like
June.
well,
April, June.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
can be. There's more, but still, like I think we don't value what kind of details are given on earnings calls because we forget, in my opinion.
Yeah,
True.
yeah,
But
for sure.
might be me. I can give some of the most voted questions on Say.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Top 3.
I'll give you the top 3. So the first one is unsupervised FSD still planned to be released in Texas and California this year? What hurdles still exist to make this happen?
Okay.
Second one is Optimus now mostly design locked for 2025 production? And number 3 is when will Tesla start selling Optimus and what will be the price?
Okay. Yeah, I not very exciting questions, but
No.
let's see what.
Well, what would be your exciting question then?
Number one question is what the deregulation. How is it going to affect Tesla, and what can we accelerate as a company? Those things would be sort of major things, because probably they have a list like, oh man, if we can get regulation speed up by these 10 items, then we have a lot of breakthroughs.
I would also be interested if we get a question about SpaceX, for example, asking him, okay, in 2 years, we have the first window of actually getting a Starship to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
What is his load going to be?
Yeah.
How many Cybertrucks are going to be on the Starship?
Yeah, that's maybe a good
how
question.
many
Optimi-
megapacks? How many Optima?
Yeah. How many? What's the boring company?
Buff rocks.
Buff Rocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
How many
You,
Florians
Kees?
will be on board? We need Florian on board on the first mission to
We
Mars.
need to weave some stuff. And, on Mars.
Sorry, I
Need
was
to call it Ark of Noah's Ark. Well, do you have any bold predictions for earnings call tomorrow?
No, I'm mostly looking forward to the energy, just similar to the previous months. I'm on the same page as Florian is, because I'm very curious about FSD Robotaxi, because we're getting close. Rest of it, like probably the numbers will disappoint at least to Wall Street, or like people are expecting a lot. So like stock wise and stuff like that, I don't really care. But yeah, like energy and FSD is the most important things for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's see. Exciting stuff.
Do we have an additional recording after the earnings? I think we wanted to do, right? Or
Yeah,
sure.
we can make time.
maybe
Maybe we can
Spaces
watch
or-
together. What time is it?
Late,
It's usually late because it's 5 o'clock end of the day there. So this means usually it starts around like 12.
That's the
No,
time you wake up, no?
little bit earlier, 11.
Yeah, I'm still awake then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
can wake
I
up.
have my
I'm
doubts
sleeping,
about you.
Yeah, we can do it right in the morning, day after, right? So,
Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
it.
then
Sure.
usually I'm asleep.
yeah, we'll kick you out.
kick out Kees.
I need some energy, man, because well, not in myself, but my laptop's gonna die, so I don't have the topic list or any of the.
Okay,
stuff.
then I'll have a look. I think one of the topics that we actually had was on FSD, and also Florian, you had quite some things on there on the Robotaxi network, and maybe some thoughts
Yeah,
there.
but revenue models, right?
Revenue
And
models.
how a robotaxi, what that actually will look like in the future. We had a very interesting discussion with it about it with Robert Scoble, actually, because we did a Spaces on X last Saturday, 2.5 hours, and at the 1 hour 15-minute mark, Robert Scoble enters. It was actually pretty fun discussion about robotaxi and all the possible features you can build on top of it. So if you might want to say something more about that.
Yeah, so we were invited by a guy named Alex.
Yeah, Alex
and,
Newgate.
together with Edward. And Edward is actually building a robotaxi fleet in the US. And he wanted to learn more from our business model and how we're going to expand to the US and how we can help those shepherds to build their company and scale it and also fund it. So we were asked our clothes from our body. That's how we say in Dutch, huh?
Oh god.
Well, they asked us
De
a lot.
hemd van het lijf gevraagd.
Exactly, yeah. But it was indeed it was fun for us to explain, because also for us it's interesting to explain to other people what actually our role is going to be within value chain of a robotaxi network, and what we can offer to people actually building and having the ambition to become a shepherd. And we will be doing that a lot more. And that's also one of the goals of this podcast, to explain to people, okay, what's our role as Mr. Green going to be in this new world. And then Robert Scoble, who is following me on X, was also joining, and he was invited to the speaker board. And then we got into a very interesting discussion about cost, Waymo versus Tesla, but also about revenue models. And we were actually coming to the conclusion that he was invited by the chairman of MOE, Chandon, to the French Open
LVMH,
in Paris. So he went there and he sat there and watched the tennis game, and they talked about robotaxi and about Uber. And this guy from Moet, he said, "Yeah, I wake up at night thinking about Uber." And Robert was like, "Why the hell? You are champagne." Yeah, but Uber comes to the party and brings the stuff that you order at Uber. So they decide what the party is going to look like. And that is something that we are not able to offer as Moe. And that brought a very interesting discussion about, okay, if you have a platform where you can actually self-drive, what is actually going to change in the world? And which partners are actually going to look at this, and how are they going to solve their market proposition, their value proposition? So then you came to this very nice idea of having a Robovan pub, where
the party comes to your place
instead of comes to your place instead of you taking a cab to the or Uber to the party,
having a party at home and then taking a cab to the party. Fuck the party, fuck that cab. Just bring the party back to your place.
Exactly,
that's awesome.
And also, if you think about those ideas, I mean, the cost is not an issue anymore. I mean, of course, it costs you money, but you don't pay for the miles. You pay for the party. You pay for the beers you drink or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or you have a subscription on the Robovan pub. And that was actually quite fun. And then we also talked about, okay, but how are we going to become as a human, as a civilization, if we are sitting in a
drunk
car
all the time,
and we're being entertained all the time.
I instantly made the link to that movie Idiocracy, where like people are so numb to everything and so used to being entertained all the time that they're just hopping in the car,
because
being fat.
He said there are people in Vegas right now who are just sitting there day in, day out.
Yeah, at the slot
pushing
machine.
the button, getting fed by the dopamine of getting some hits. And they pay $100 a day, and that's just their entertainment. That's how they spend their all day. And that's what you said. Maybe the cybercab will become a giant...
one big driving slot machine. Yeah. In like 24 hours.
Well, I think it will exaggerate the behaviors that people are already having.
Oh, definitely.
Right? So that's always what technology does. So, for example, if your behavior is like being super productive...
it's going to be hyper productive.
The cyber cap will be a dream for you. Those kind of when I think about those technology shifts, so to say, I always think back of the beginning of sort of people adapting to the internet. For me, at that moment, it was already very clear that there will be a distinction between people that were utilizing the internet versus the people that were not utilizing the internet. Right, so you at that moment you saw that people that were utilizing the internet had a tenfold extra information at their fingertips,
exactly,
compared to their peers that were not utilizing that technology.
Kind of like
just by doing
ChatGPT right now.
Yeah, so the same is true nowadays. Like you have people that are working with AIs, and you have people that are working without the AIs. And for the people that are smart in utilizing the AIs, can be from ChatGPT, but also integrating it with the prompts in the work, etc. They will have a 10x or 100x productivity output compared to their peers. So the gap of, let's say, people that are utilizing these superhuman technologies versus the people that are not utilizing these technologies. And the cyber cap and having cheap energy, etc., are one of them, because the energy and the transport gives you the opportunities to also expand to other places than you're maybe used to. Will also have a sort of 10x increase in what you do. So that said, the behavior that we are learning ourselves in the next 5 years will be very critical. So if you're, for example, right now hooked to Netflix, you can be sure that your Netflix algorithm is becoming smarter and smarter, that the productions on Netflix are becoming smarter and smarter, so you get hooked even more, right? And it will become more difficult to get rid of those type of behaviors.
Like I have with X right now.
Yeah, and right now, if you can, if you're super productive, you will be even more productive in the coming years, and the gap between people using it and not using it will be so big that at the end everybody needs to adopt, of course, but that will be a window of, let's say, 4 or 5 years before that happens.
Same as with internet, right? So every brand you had in, let's say, 1995, which didn't transition to anything online or whatever,
they're gone.
Yeah,
they're gone. So
I agree, but I think
happen.
the adoption curve, of course, with software is much faster. So, for example, something like ChatGPT, I'm very surprised to see a lot of people, even people I don't expect, like baby boomers, for example, utilizing this technology already. But with hardware, it's always just slower, right? So, for example, the adoption of WhatsApp was way faster than the adoption of the mobile phone, simply because everything needs to be manufactured and rolled out.
I actually had a discussion with that with Herbert on X as well. So we talked about adoption of certain technologies, and I said to him exactly the same as you're saying. So software and technologies might go quick, but everything that's hardware related takes time, because if you went back to the iPhone moment, I still remember it was like 2007 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And before everyone was on the iPhone, it's like you're 5-6 years down the road. At that moment, looking back, the iPhone is a no-brainer. Everyone should have bought one at that moment, but it takes so long before people get in. I need this new phone.
I need a physical keyboard. Let's get a BlackBerry instead.
Exactly. But that was what people was talking about. So it actually takes what you say with hardware a bit longer.
Because you will have cities that have cyber caps and cities that don't have cyber caps. Only that different.
And the boundary to enter is a lot easier when it's software only. You don't need to purchase anything or learn.
The only good thing is that, for example, the cyber caps are, of course, a service, right? So you don't have to purchase the full thing to have your first experience in it. So that can speed up the adoption.
It will.
For example, if you look at how Waymo is received in California, people are used to it, and they also willing to pay the same amount as a Uber right now. So they're almost paired in prices. So that adoption has been going very, very quick. So the bottleneck is just how fast can they get them out, and how fast will they be allowed on the roads.
Interesting thing you say about Waymo, because that exactly is also what we discussed with Alex and Robert. Waymo is never going to be able to scale because they don't produce their own cars, they don't produce their own LiDAR. It's way too costly to scale up, and Cybercab will be a very efficiently, cheaply produced vehicle with a shit ton of services that you're going to offer. So the price that they're going to enter the market, it's going to obliterate.
It's completely different. Did you see the response from, there was a Tesla engineer who responded to somebody who compared Tesla to Waymo. He said something like, I'm long Tesla, so he's a Tesla shareholder.
Was it Alex Wang or something?
It could be. He said Waymo is much further, and I don't believe Tesla.
Prepare to be shocked.
Yes, exactly. Yes. That's what he said. He said, I don't believe Tesla with their current hardware or hardware that's now existing will be as smooth as Waymo. I would be shocked if they can. And then the guy would say, be ready to be shocked.
Yeah.
It was a shock, I believe. We'll reply to that.
I love comments from Tesla people themselves, like straight in the comments. It's fucking funny always.
But
it's so blunt.
I like it actually when something like suddenly DeepSeek comes up, right? Suddenly technology can come up from a Chinese company that has FSD, because right now the closer we get to the solution, the more people are able to figure it out, right? And if it's a model that learns itself and people are becoming smarter with that, then also that solution will be thought of in the rest of the world. And I think it's actually a great thing, because
it means it will speed up.
Of course, that landscape is amazing.
Same as with EVs, right? I mean, Elon has always said, like, we want people to get to EVs, so the Fords.
They even opened up all the patents.
To get people on EVs, because then more people will adopt it as well. So, but on this part, like on the FSD part, there's somebody from Altimeter who went to, like, it's an investment company. They went to like all the Chinese competitor, and then after they came back, they were like, all right, put all the eggs in Tesla, because they're way more advanced than the Chinese competitors.
Kees, can you put this one on the screen?
I would love to.
Kees's computer
but my computer just died, and
you don't have the screen anymore.
No.
Well, we still have the screen, but we can't put anything on the screen. Yeah.
Maybe we can zoom in on Kees.
Always a good thing.
Well, Kees, I'm very happy that you're well prepared for the podcast, man. Thanks.
So,
well, fuck you, and fuck you especially.
It's a very cool video about automated parking. But it's in China, and there's a girl stepping out of a car, and the car just parks it in very easily, and she just walks away as if it's the most normal thing. So for us, that's one of the epiphanies of FSD and Tesla happening.
Okay.
What kind of car is it?
We can cue this moment and edit it in later, the video. So I don't know how long we're already on.
I don't know what kind of the car it is.
Find your battery.
1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes. So let's weave that in post-production. Cool. And sorry I came unprepared, but we need to have more sockets here.
Yeah. Always somebody else.
That's not my fault. Never.
Well, I think we've almost touched anything. So there's something Kees wants to say about the, I don't know how to
now I don't want to anymore.
Okay, well, let's go.
Regulation.
Yeah, it's
sexy stuff.
Yeah, always sexy. I love judicial documents. No. There's a short update. You know, like the strikes that you have in your Tesla, that if you abuse autopilot, you have a strike, you're kicked out of using autopilot for a week. Mm-hmm. Highly likely that will disappear in the near future. But the sad thing is, what's the system initiated maneuvers? That was it. The UK again fucked shit up. So for the next year, we're not going to see FSD supervised in Europe. Even all talks and discussions about like how to deploy it or put it into legislation, cancelled.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see what they announce tomorrow on FSD in Europe, because in their official documents of Tesla, we still see Q2 next year of this year.
Yeah, pending regulatory approval.
Pending regulatory. And what we also need to realize, and if it's true or not, but Europe is becoming the laughing stock in sort of Silicon Valley, because
it is already.
We see just products and software being delayed in Europe that is sort of groundbreaking and life-changing.
But we do have bottle caps that now stick to the bottle.
Yeah,
we do.
That's the thing.
That's cool,
but
right?
For example, our buddy Jack is right now in the hospital, and he said, how amazing would it be if I can just have full self-driving bringing me to, just to work or to stuff that I need to do.
Have a physical therapist in the car.
Yeah. So the work that you say, what is going to be changed with cybercabs, people that are not able to right now make use of transport are suddenly being able to use transport. So elderly people, crippled people,
kids.
You
kids,
should listen
dogs.
to our spaces. We've touched all these topics.
Yeah, exactly. So that is something that makes me a bit frustrated being in Europe right now, seeing all the cool stuff happening around the world and not in our own country. So
yeah,
it's time to go to the US.
No, I can't wait.
Yeah, I think we have to. Somewhere April, right? There's a Fool's, it's Fool's Day somewhere in April, and there's a Fool's birthday. So I think it's a great month to go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
What's the date?
16 April.
16th of April.
Yeah, it's the Fool's birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people in the comments, let us know who is the biggest fool of the show. who has his birthday on the 16th? But yeah, we need to go.
Definitely.
I think last year when we went,
amazing,
it's amazing just to try the software, see it for yourself.
Well, going to the United States on its own is amazing, but especially experiencing
Cybertrucks, etc. So.
Whoa,
yeah. Also, like last year, we went to people who were supporting Trump, like asking them why and how they look at it. And you remember, I think, very well. But
that's where Damien got his mega head, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's I think it's good. Like going there and just asking people like, how do you feel about the US, etc. Like same as people coming to Europe and they ask you like, how do you feel about Europe?
You learn a lot.
Netherlands. Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go.
Okay.
Right.
Well, we will be live with the earnings call. I think after the earnings call.
Yeah, let's do it.
And let's share our notes together in the next show and talk soon.
Yeah, and that's going to be an online podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's...
No, it's on
4 a.m.
VHS for you. Okay. So.
Well, let's do Betamax. I love Betamax instead
we can
of
also
VHS.
just rendezvous here at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So you can come right out of the pub.
Last time it was Kees having lack of energy. We fired him up with some methylene blue.
Methylene blue.
Plug
Red
needs
Bull,
working.
Well, I'm addicted now.
Sorry,
I take it every day.
meth what?
Yeah, yeah. I combine it, so I wake up with a little bit of crystal meth, and then I go methylene blue for the rest of the day.
Okay, Kees. Thanks a lot for this contribution.
Please don't get me cancelled.
Okay, Jen. See you.
Thanks. Cheers.
All right. Thank you.